Hello and welcome in to the latest episode of the Nebraska Prep Zone Report. I'm Dillon Adams, back for another week here with Mike Patterson and Stu Pospisil. And guys, you know, we got the All-Nebraska volleyball team done. All-Nebraska football is in the books.
Yay.
And so, yeah, let's move on to some round ball here. And we're really diving into the basketball season. And Mike, you got to see your first look at Britt Prince in her senior year last night. And your new number one team, Elkhorn North, they're looking pretty dominant. They solidified their spot with a win over Bellevue West.
Right. That was one of their tougher games early this season. Class A power Bellevue West and Elkhorn North playing at home. Really looked good last night. And, of course, Britt did what Britt does. She had 18 points in the first quarter, 25 at halftime, ended up with 35. 7 of 9 from the field in that first quarter, including 3 threes. So she really was on her game, and when she's hitting like that, there's no stopping the Wolves. So the Thunderbirds got within about 6 in the second half, but every time they got that close, Elkhorn North would pull away. So, yeah, our new overall number one, Elkhorn North, and they justified that boost to number one last night with a 15-point win over Bellevue West.
It was an impressive win for sure because that Lady Thunderbirds team was your preseason number one. And, you know, now you look ahead, this has been the first time in a while, right, that a Class B team leads your rankings.
Right. You know, thinking about that, I don't know if you got to go back to the South Sioux City days, Stu.
I hadn't really thought about that. You know, I saw Bellevue West last week. Mike had a preseason 1-2 matchup with Millard North, and Bellevue West at home, you know, was able to win that one. But then Bellevue West goes to Pius on Saturday night and loses. And so now the T-Birds are on a 2-game losing streak.
You know, I thought the T-Birds were going to be a little stronger to start because they struggled at home against Lincoln North Star their very first night. I think you were there that night. Mm-hmm. And, they've got 3 really strong double-digit scorers back. And, I was at that game last year when they played at Millard South when Katie barred the door, 93-91.
Right.
Great offensive girls basketball game. So, talking to Bellevue West coach Dane Bacon after the game, he said, we're just not hitting on all cylinders quite yet, but hey, it's early. We're only 4 games into the season. So, I expect a little better things from Bellevue West, and we'll see how the Metro Conference, the holiday tournament shakes out. But last night, no question, Elkhorn North was the best team.
I mean, I think we have to wonder, because neither one of us has seen Scott's girls yet. Are they the second best team in the state?
Quite possible. So,
because Class A looks to be kind of a balanced.
Right.
There's no Millard South out there this year.
Right.
You knew that all along. It could be a year where you get 6, 8 Class A teams in the mix, and then you've got Elkhorn North and Scott. Maybe Norris.
I boosted Millard West up. They haven't lost yet, with the twins, the Gessert twins.
Right. And
so
they're going to be highly recruited as well as Britt has been.
Right. And they were at the game last night. So
okay.
And Nebraska's already offered them. So, Millard West is up there. You mentioned Millard North, Bellevue West, and Scott plays Elkhorn North during the regular season, so we'll see how that goes.
January 5th or 6th. That's that first weekend of January.
Right. I think it's at Elkhorn North this year.
Okay.
So, we'll see how that goes. But Scott has pretty much everybody back from last year. They've been chasing Elkhorn North. We'll see if they catch them this year. But, Elkhorn North still has Britt Prince, and her senior year, how she's going to want to finish it.
How did the rest of the team look around her? I mean, they lost a little bit to graduation, but you've got Reese Booth back and McKenna Murphy.
Right.
Who's the other 2 in that lineup?
Right. They spread it around a little bit last night, so they did enough. Let's put it that way. But Britt definitely drives the bus. Yeah, Stodden had maybe 14 last night.
Okay. That's Jerry Godowski's granddaughter.
So
the old Fremont football coach and athletic director.
Okay.
So a good athletic family.
Yeah.
Right there. If she can do that and they've got 4 scoring options, they're going to be tough to beat.
Murphy had 12. So the only possible Achilles heel you might say for Elkhorn North, their inside game is kind of limited. So even though the Thunderbirds had a good inside player in Danny Coyer last night. She had 10 points and 10 rebounds, so she did some damage inside. But
well, Britt had 22 rebounds
against Bennington.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
You know, she's got the best nose for the ball I've seen in a long time.
Not just offensively, but defensively.
Sure.
She's very disruptive, long arms, and, just messes things up at both sides, both ends of the court. So, those teams we talked about are definitely ones we'll be watching here in the upcoming weeks.
Will you go see Scott before Christmas, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So, but, Kip Colony's going for that. So many great teams at Millard West and
Now it's Scott.
and really good teams at Scott, and Kip's going after that elusive first title. I know he'd really like to get it. I know Scott would love to get it in,
and dethrone
and
Britt.
dethrone the three-time champion. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves there. But that's definitely one of the storylines, and probably the main storyline that's going to be going on all season in Class B. Those two teams.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about your rankings before we shift to boys.
All right. Well, it's we mentioned Elkhorn North is our new overall number 1. Millard West 2, Omaha Scud is 3, Bellevue West 4, Millard North 5. Rounding out the overall top 10, number 6 is Pius, number 7 Lincoln Southwest, number 8 Omaha Central, Anaya Jones and Company. Number 9 Lincoln North Star, and number 10 Lincoln Northeast, and our number 1s in each class, the Wildcats of Millard West, number 1 in A, Elkhorn North in B, Malcolm, still undefeated, C1, the Hallie Dolliver Bunch, C2, Crofton, D1, Pender, and Class D2, we had a new number 1 this week in Falls City, Sacred Heart. Why Not was defeated, so the Irish move up to number 1.
Yeah, Why Not lost on the boys' side, too. You didn't mention somebody that's number 10 in Class A. Was that just an oversight here?
It's Omaha Benson, your alma mater.
We get enough Omaha
by the way.
Roncalli references on this podcast. Little shout out to the Bunnies who, if I recall, lost to Westview in the OPS Jamboree and then avenged that loss. So.
Right. And I'm going to see them, I think, on Friday night. They're playing at Millard North. So,
Okay.
and thing about Benson, they've actually got a few extra players this year. I mean, we wrote about it last year when they only had 5 players on the whole team.
Yeah, well, healthy. They had to finish the year with 5.
Right. I mean,
Helps to have a bench, huh?
and you have to have 5 to start the game. You
Right.
can finish with less, but you have to have 5 to start. And somebody told me they're probably the best conditioned team in the state, because when you've only got 5 players, you don't get a whole lot of rest time there.
No.
So they
Well, you can
did a
increase
great job.
your sprained ankle chances with that, too,
Right.
being on the court for 32.
Benson did a great job of winning. I think they won about 10 games last
They were like
year.
10 and 11.
Yeah, that was amazing when they had such a short varsity team. So, but I guess we'll mention the Bunnies checking in at number 10 in Class A.
Friday night.
I guess that's the 2 top teams in OPS, then you would have to say. It was Central and Benson. Then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you got to keep Westview in the mix, too. And, I mean, that's a great story out there. Second year, and both teams made the OPS Jamboree Finals a week ago, and, good school spirit down at Bryan for that. And, they're going to be one of the comers, of the new schools. They've got a really bright future.
Just wanted to mention Westview coach, the girls, coached by Jason Simons, who was at Wahoo Newman for several years and did a really good job there. And first year at Westview last year, they didn't have any seniors, and really almost all freshmen and a couple of sophomores, and they were able to have a pretty successful season. So I think Jason's done a really good job in a short amount of time.
They also
there.
can have a family reunion on the bench. They've got, I think, 3 of his kids are assisting him this year. So it's a Simons family effort every time out for the Wolverines.
Nice.
So.
But no, dipping back into Britt real quick before we move on to boys. She opened the season with a career high 42. Then she does her 28 and 22 rebounds last Friday night, 35 last night. It
So
seems
that's
like
her
she's
average. 35's her average after those 3 games.
so up 10 more points than what she averaged last year. She's somehow scoring at a way higher pace. What have you seen from her that she's, I guess, most improved upon in her game?
Well, I just saw her last night. So I think one thing, well, she's healthy. She had the foot injury at the very end of last season. She's been working really hard to get back. That was her first game action, really, since that final against Scott. So, and I think the fact that, and Stu and I have talked about this, the fact that she has signed her letter of intent with Nebraska, she's not kind of constantly out there under the microscope of all the other coaches all across the nation, really. So I think maybe she'll be able to play even a little more relaxed and kind of.
I think she's a senior, and I don't think she's being subordinate anymore. I mean, this is her team. Senior year, she's been really good in the team chemistry. She's going to continue to do that, but this is her year.
Yeah, her last year. So, and obviously they've won 3 titles, and there's only one way they want to finish, and only one way she wants to end her career. So, yeah, but I mean, she's off to a great start for 4-0, 4 games, and you mentioned her scoring average, so solid.
Most definitely. So now we can dip into boys here, and I know, Stu, you wrote over the weekend, one of our top contenders in Class A is 3-1 Gretna, but they're hoping to receive some positive off-the-court news with their coach, Brad Feakin.
Yes, Brad's been dealing with a rare form of lower GI cancer for past couple years, and they had gotten good news that it had not spread in his last cancer check, and in fact, some of the tumors in the various places were shrinking slightly, so there wasn't growth, but they were finding fluid in his body, and they thought it was gallbladder causing it, so they took the gallbladder out. He wasn't responding, recovering as you would normally, so they went back in, and he needs a heart valve repaired. And the first scheduling option that they were told, according to assistant and very good friend of Brad's, Bill Hurd, is sometime in early January. And so they're hoping this week to get better news on that front, that he can get in sooner. And they were checking out options. And tonight, this is Wednesday when we tape this, Wednesday, December, what are we, 13th?
13th, yes.
There's a fundraiser at Heavy Brewery at 204th and Highway 370 in Gretna. Free will offering, music bingo, just trying to help defray some of the medical costs that have certainly piled up for the Feakin family. And, great guy. As I wrote, he's got a big heart, and now that heart needs a big repair. So,
on a personal note, Dylan, Stu and I have both known Brad for a long time. I mean, he's not only a good coach, but a good guy, and he's just had a lot of medical issues, and he's a fellow Bears fan like I am, and we've talked football sometimes just to kind of switch things up a little bit. But our thoughts are definitely with the Feakin family and with Brad, and hopefully everything turns out okay.
And the team's certainly got something else to handle. They've got good senior leadership in Landon Perkowski and Alex Wilcoxon, and those parents are very active along with the Wilkins. I think Mrs. Wilkins is Alex Wilkins' mom, chairing this fundraiser tonight. And the Gretna community's been so supportive of the Feakins and the team as well. And again, Gretna still feels like a small town community. That can change. Gretna's one of the growth areas, and we're going to see Gretna East probably get in Class A faster than Gretna will return. But it's still that small town feel and that sense of belonging that they're going to rally, and that's we just wish Brad the best and the Dragons the best.
Yes, absolutely. So, I want to wish them the best, and we'll keep going here with kind of our latest rankings. Had two undefeateds as our big climbers this week into the top 5, Stu, Omaha West Side and Papio South.
Yeah, West Side knocked off Gretna. A wonderful game last week. Some guy named Coach Rule was in the house. Half the Creighton basketball team was in the house to see that one, 77-74 West Side. West Side then went on to Kearney. Not an easy place to play the next day, and short rest, and held off the Bearcats there. So they moved up to 3rd. Papio South, very solid win over Creighton Prep. And then Bryson Ball, their junior, who's going to likely be their all-time leading scorer sooner than later this season, had back-to-back 30-point games, including that prep game over the weekend. So the Titans maybe a year ahead of schedule, but sometimes you get that with a strong junior class, and they had 2 or 3 transfers as well come in. They're staying at 4. Millard North won the game for number 1 last week. You don't often get a December 1 versus 2 game.
Right.
But Millard North went to Bellevue West, won that game by 11. I think it was 85-74.
Snapped the big win streak.
Derek Rollins had 30 points that night, double-double. Very solid player. He and like the next kid we're going to be talking about really have diversified their games, going out to the perimeter more. So I've seen some very solid players in the past week. A week ago Monday, it was Amari Bynum, who's the only Nebraskan right now on a top 100 list in the junior-senior class. Amari's dad, Omar, played for Omaha North, and then 3 years at Iowa State to finish up there after a year of JUCO. Good lineage there, good basketball sense. He's moved out more on the perimeter. He's averaging 21 a game. Brand's undefeated, number 8 in the rankings. They probably will get their better test coming in the. Well, they start with Central on Friday night, but that's at home. Central's kind of finding itself early. And then the holiday tourney that starts on the 22nd. Brian and the better teams won't play until the 29th. But, certainly the Bears are a team to watch with Galen Gully as coach. But, so it was Millard North going up to number 1. Bellevue West drops only to 2. Westside, Papio South, Prep ran out the top 5. Gretna heads the second 5. Kearney with losses only to Millard North and Westside, 7. Bryan would be higher, but they need a good win.
Sure.
And then new to the rankings, Lincoln Southwest with Braden Frager, the Nebraska recruit reclassifying to be class of 24 is 9th, and Omaha North won again on Tuesday night, so they're staying 4-1, and Coach Thomas Lichty, you read between the lines there, I think there's better team chemistry this year with the Vikings, and they've always seemed to have good potential, and maybe this is the year that things get put together. In other classes, Creek goes to number 1 in Class B. I saw Aiden McDowell score 35 on Bennington first weekend. So they're number 1. Elkhorn beat Norris, which had been preseason number 1. So the Antlers are 2, Norris is 3. Scotts Bluff, Omaha Scott with a limited schedule early, lost by 1 to St. Thomas Aquinas is 5. Hastings, undefeated start there for the Tigers. I'll see them Saturday, 6. Roncalli. My mention of Roncalli, 7.
Good job.
Blair, Bennington, and Omaha Gross new at number 10. Other class leaders, Omaha Concordia, which has a game Thursday night at Bennington. That'll be interesting. And then Ashland Greenwood is 2nd in C1. Class C2, Amherst, number 1. D1, Johnson Brock stays number 1. And in D2, Why Not dropped a game last week, so Shelton 1, Osceola 2, and I will see that as a 1 versus 2 game Saturday morning at the Heartland Holiday Hoops Classic at Hastings College.
Nice.
Shelton Osceola is the 11-15 game. Elkhorn North, only the boys, not the girls. See Hastings St. Cecilia at 1. Cross County and Adams Central's 2:45. Grand Island Central Catholic and Central City at 4:30. Grand Island Hastings, always a grudge game there at 6:15. And Roncalli travels to play a Goodenough and Trumbull team at 8 o'clock. So got a busy Saturday ahead.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Dylan, I wanted to swing back to the girls and just say one thing about Russ Ninemeyer, DC West coach. He's closing in on the all-time record for coaching wins. John Larson holds it, 638. Ninemeyer's at 636. They got beat by Arlington last night, so they're 3-1 now. So he will be.
What's that timetable do now? Will it be pre-Christmas or Christmas turning possible?
I think they've only got a couple games left before Christmas. They play, I think, at West Point Beamer, and they play at home against Raymond Central. I think then the break comes, and then they play in a tournament. So it could happen at the tournament. So, Russ won a lot of those games at Sandy Creek, and he's had a really fine coaching career. And, John Larson is the leader, Southeast and Creed, and, John was always a good guy, and he'd be the first to congratulate Ninemeyer when he gets that record.
Well, they coached together for some of those Nebraska Girls Basketball Association teams. So,
right.
No, they're friends, and, records are made to be broken, and, and John's still going to hold the – well, actually, Jim Miller's got the Class A record, doesn't he? Or is it John? For wins a Class A program. Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, well, because Crete was Class B.
Right.
So,
and so John had, 3 years there?
Yeah. I think
Miller may have.
Probably, because I think his whole time was at Marion.
Right.
And, he went past, I think he finished with 609, something like that. So those were probably all Class A. So
yes.
I think Miller probably has that.
Okay.
But, yeah.
3 of the best.
3 of the best. And I guess when we're talking about coaches, we should mention Sharon Zavala, the all-time volleyball leader with 1177 wins, recently announced her retirement at Grand Island Central Catholic. So I don't think anybody's going to touch that mark anytime soon, or maybe forever. Who knows?
That's 49 years.
Yeah, 49 years.
First time in 49 years they have to go find a coach.
49 years at the same school. She actually coached 50 because she was an assistant track coach, and then she took over volleyball after that. So that's a great career for Sharon. Congratulations. And
happy retirement.
Happy retirement.
You're not going to hear that too much anymore, I don't think. The same coach staying for 49 years. I think that's kind of a thing of the past. But yeah, congratulations on that all-time career. As we wrap things up here, we had the Bears winning their first OPS title, right, in 15 years, too.
Right.
I think
Brian
we should
Bears. Not the Chicago Bears.
Right, the Brian Bears. Should throw that out, too.
Chicago had a nice win on Sunday.
Yeah, they did.
Yes, they did.
We're getting close to Christmas, and they're not eliminated yet. That's pretty remarkable.
Welcome to the NFC.
There's a way the Bears can still get into the playoffs. I mean, it's a little convoluted. They play at Cleveland on Sunday, so that'll be a tough one. But, then they have a couple home games that are winnable. I think they're against Atlanta and Arizona. So
they could go from being number 1 in the draft to sneaking in and
kind of wrecking themselves in the draft. But the ace in the hole is they still have Carolina's number 1 draft pick in the deal they made last year in the draft. So we'll see how that all shakes out. I won't mention the green and yellow team, even though they got beat. Was it Sunday night or Monday night?
Yeah. Thank goodness. Kept my Vikings.
But the touchdown pass by Love put my wife into our fantasy football playoffs.
Hooray.
So we kept harmony in the family because I was already in.
Yeah. Mike, the security guard downstairs, who's a big Packers fan, he wasn't too happy about that Packers loss. But actually, they're still kind of in line for a wild card bid, too.
And make Kansas City's receivers learn how to line up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, that rant that Mahomes went on. But, hey, offside is offside. And
it was clear. It was so clear. I saw it right away. I'm going...
Not just in the NFL. That's going to get called in college, even in high school.
Well, they're going to call in high school as much as anything. But, no, I mean, it was not even close.
I think that rant was kind of a culmination of what's kind of been gone wrong with the Chiefs this, the last 3 or 4 weeks. And, I think Mahomes is obviously a generational talent, and he's done everything right up to that point, and now I think he's kind of backed off a little bit, kind of regrets what he did and what he said to Josh Allen, the Buffalo quarterback, after the game. It was the heat of the moment.
It's it's one of those things. It's like Kadarius Toney, you can drop passes and you can run the wrong route. That's fine. At least just line up on sides. That's
well,
gotta at least do that.
And again, we're in an age, fortunately or unfortunately, where you've got social media and you've got live mics on the field.
Yes.
And so everything's going to get picked up. I mean, 10 years ago, that would not have been a conversation with Mahomes and Allen that you would have heard. I mean, the privacy factor is diminishing to the point of extinction.
Yeah, it's almost zero now. Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs are still in good shape. They're going to win their division. Miami
they might have to leave the friendly confines, though.
Miami losing, that didn't hurt them either.
They can still get the 1 seed, since Miami lost. But,
Baltimore's kind of in the driver's seat, but they've kind of had some issues, too. So, we'll see how it plays out.
Postseason.
Yeah. 3-4 weeks left in the season. Yeah, there's a lot to figure out. So I think I looked at the standings. There's like 13 teams that are 7-6 or 6-7. So it's like half the league that can go either way these last 4 weeks. So
which is what old Pete Rozelle always wanted. Or was it Tagliabue? One of those two. Their dream was to have everybody 8-8.
I think it was
you can't do that because you got 17 games. Right. But
I think it was, as Howard Cosell said, Alvin Pete Rozelle. Yeah. Bears 5-8, I think can still get to 8-8.
8 and around.
Well, they can't mathematically. They can. Can they physically?
Well, we'll find out.
So no, we can wrap this up for today, guys. This was a lot of fun talking some hoops. Oh, real quick, I want to congratulate Omaha Scott's Cade Ziola. I think we should do that real quick. He won the Ironman wrestling in Ohio, first Nebraskan. Yes, so congrats to him. That was an awesome deal. We're starting the wrestling season too,
and swimming.
Yep,
and bowling, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You bet. So busy time of
year.
Strike
it lucky.
We got a holiday potluck to get to though, so we're gonna wrap things up. We might be back before the Metro tournament. Otherwise, we'll come back after the first and kind of.
We'll have to see. We got signing day next week too.
So busy times for sure.
It won't be the weather holding us back.
No, for once the Metro tournament, I think we'll be all good.
All good.
No cancellations.
We shouldn't have any weather issues in the next week because it's going to be probably a green Christmas.
We don't have a chance of white stuff for the next couple weeks. So, pretty crazy.
I'm starting to buy into this global warming thing. I mean, I just remember growing up here in Omaha when we had snow on the ground in mid-October and it was still there in early March, and now...
you go back and look, Nebraska's chances, or Nebraska over the years, it's been like a 1 in 3 chance of having a white Christmas, so...
Yeah.
What's the Farmer's Almanac say? That's what I believe in.
I don't know. The kid's got stashed away next to his farming stuff in the room, so I haven't seen it.
Go find it and check it out.
Yeah. Let's get that.
We need to get the 24 Almanac.
Yep.
See what January holds.
But if we're not back again, to our listeners and our Omaha.com subscribers, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll be back in 2024.
Happy holidays.
Thanks for listening.